Back to business. Having breakfast, just after my first 2 classes, and the body feels kind of fresh today. Of course, this will be day 2 of rest back to back, and it's something that I probably wouldn't normally be too happy about, especially if I rested Sunday and went straight into rest day Monday. I would normally force myself to train today, but I'm trying to stick to my guns in the fact that I want to still try to train the Tuesday, Wednesday, and the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That didn't happen last week, but it will this week. I'll make sure of that. It was actually a reminder to essentially get my shift in order. I left myself with a list of things that were just too busy to do over the weekend. They kind of took center stage, which meant that my training didn't. I could have done it later in the day, but that just would have, I don't know if that would have been the best decision, just from a headspace thing of allowing me to settle into the end of my week. Because, you know, the center of all this is balance, or it should be. But today, how Monday looks is more laptop work, admin, catch up, all that kind of stuff before evening coaching. So Monday is 7 hours of coaching, and that isn't just work. Coaching is a lot more than meets the eye in terms of the output it takes from you, from your energy levels, from your enthusiasm, which try and ask yourself to do that for 7 hours of the day. It takes a lot, which is why you have to eat well, sleep well, do all that stuff, and it's typically why people don't do it for 7 hours of a day. But it's all good, and I'm sticking to my guns. I'm trying to do no coffee on Mondays. I do it on Sundays, and I sleep well. I'm going to do it on Mondays now as well. I'll hopefully sleep well again tonight. Who knows? Maybe more after that. Rise and shine. Let's get it. Rufus. Hey. You watching that? Had a fantastic night's sleep, and that is no coincidence of 2 days caffeine coffee free. I tried to make it undeniable, but I get to sleep easier, I sleep through better. Granted, it's probably a bit colder last night, and woke up feeling a lot fresher today. I've had a ristretto today, which is kind of less caffeine, but we are ready to go. I have a 90-minute block between my 7 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. class, so it finished at 8 a.m. So between now and then, I'm trying to get a full weightlifting session in, which is a bunch of this, featuring this drawing that's supposed to be a bum, and all of this work. It's starting with some speed work, trying to get under the bar fast. I'm working on the snatch today. We're going for 4 sets of 3 high hang power snatch into 3 drop snatch with a descending height achieving each set. Speed under, then we're transferring that over to some snatch, and then we're doing some jerks. All right, let's get back into mic'd up lifting. So I'm now building up to my waves, which is going to be 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, and a lot of singles. Speeds there. First working set is going to be at 70 kilos. The biggest mistake people make early on in their weightlifting journey is not paying too much attention to the percentages that they should be lifting. So if someone snatch his 60 kilos, in the warm-up sets, when we're saying do 50, 60%, I'm seeing people do 40 kilos in weights that are supposed to be lighter in the feel of just allowing you to understand how the bar should move. You're making it so much harder for yourself by increasing a weight way beyond what a stimulus should actually be. It's defeating the object. 1, 2, soften the catch, gonna need a more aggressive punch in the land. That's better. Don't forget your clips. Try and stay active through that third pull, loose arms until contact, and that should give a more flush turnover into a strong receive position. 2 reps this time. A bit wobbly. Better. So what I'm finding with these sessions sometimes is that because they are in between classes, I had to squeeze my rest times in just so that I'm not doing my session right up till when the class starts. I'm at least having some time to cool down, get a bit of food in. Ultimately, I'm not be so reckless with my time. This is just a single. First wave done. Now we're on the 2s into the singles. Oh yeah. Oh. Now we're moving. Flush. I can snatch probably 100 kilos, like confidently, but I should be closer to like 110. I'm adding 2 or 3 kilos to my percentages just to increase the overall stimulus that my body's taking and get me used to the higher weight reps more consistently. A little bit loose above the knee, So the idea of when you do waves is the real-time adjustment that you can make, because we push the heavy stimulus, and then once we realize that we are moving well, we get the chance to lower that weight back down and really dial in technique points, still at heavyish weights, to allow you to think a little bit more in real time about how you adjust technique or think about certain points to ultimately make you lift better. A little bit soft on the right arm, but we move. Oh, that was shit. When the lead up to the catch looks as good as that did, more often than not, it's just about how aggressive you want to be in that catch position. So this time, I'm thinking about a more aggressive punch to make that lift a bit more snappy. That's better. And then the microphone dies, so we're onto jerk primers, then we're building up on the same waves up to a heavy split jerk. We're going for 2 jerk dips, 2 jerks, 2 jerk balance, and then 2 press in the jerk, and about a 5 out of 10 to prime well for those jerks. Alright, we're on the last 3. And if I drop this bar at any point, it's done. 3 more singles, 132 to 135 kilos. Let's see what we got. On a reel, that was a pretty bad ending to a weightlifting session, but the more factors I considered, after trying to rush it, obviously that was going to happen. I didn't have much food in the system, had the music on really low to try and limit the copyright on this video, and just didn't have quite enough gas in the tank, but that's fine. Next class done. Now I've got my next gap. I'm going to try and fit another Metcon in. Today's Metcon's a busy one before my midday class, and then one more after that. This one is 2 rounds of 3-minute AMRAPs. First one is 40 double unders into 3 burpee bar muscle ups. Second one is an AMRAP of 10 dumbbell snatches at 1 30-kilo dumbbell into a 30 feet handstand walk. Third AMRAP is a 50 feet dumbbell lunge with the 1 30-kilo dumbbell held however you like, and 10 wall facing handstand push-ups. Big on the shoulders. Good test, spicy. Let's see how we go. Test of the gymnastic capacity more than anything. Not exactly redlining, but you can get there if you push your capacity a little bit too much. That was all about moving well, moving efficiently, and making sure that that is what holds the pace to allow me to keep moving and getting consistent scores and hitting the targets, which is something I did. I'm really paying attention to the notes, and it's really paying off. I'm learning a lot about how to train effectively. That's also giving me more knowledge that I can pass on to the people that I coach, either in classes or the people that I program for on an individual basis. There is so much to be learned on this journey, even just from training well in general, but the application that is now going to have leading up to Torian, competitions before that, after that, all that kind of stuff. You just got to always be willing to learn and apply what you are trying to learn. There's always going to be people who know more than we do. We just got to be open to listening to that. It's up to you to gain the rewards. So I think we got another soul claimer today. Part 2 is going to be 25 box jumps, 25 toes to bar, 13 cleans to start with at 85 kilos. Same again, 25, 25. This time 11 cleans at 102.5 kilos. One more time, 25, 25, and then 9 cleans at 120. I'm going to try and power for as long as I can, just because of the central nervous system tax that a squat will do. No doubt, maybe I'll have to revert to that at some point, but we'll see. Let's see how strong this pull can last. Let's see how efficient the box jumps can be. Let's see what the capacity in the toes to bar will remain at.
Done. Right, 60-minute time cap on that one. Got it done with 14:30 something, which is a good way to go, but the target time was around about 12. So what it's telling me is that I probably didn't back myself enough on the earlier rounds of the cleans, because I was almost preserving to stay efficient on the 120, which I did do, but maybe there was room to push on that earlier on and then try to hold the rate that I did once I finally got to that final bar. I'd do it again, that's what I'd do. But still, good data. And again, these are more of those workouts that I could have only dreamed of doing one day. And it shows how far I've come. Moving well, there's no back pain, no stiffness in the wrong areas. That is just good moving. I've got a pump on, and I can leave today's session feeling rather happy with myself.
Home for lunch, and we are here for a big old feed. A bunch of chicken from last night's meal, spinach and cauliflower, and then some homemade sweet potato and regular fries, drizzled with some buffalo sauce. And that should pack a decent punch in terms of the calories, which on the whole, I've generally kind of reined back from tracking, just because it's another layer that I don't really want to be thinking about, that I don't want to have the accountability for. I just know to eat a lot of the time. So as long as I'm having 3 to 4 meals, significant snacks in between, making sure I'm hydrated, I'm doing enough. Last meal of the day, mince and sweet potatoes with some more of buffalo sauce. Calories locked in. Morning coaching done. Yep, got caffeinated again. Got a little bit of work to do on my laptop before training starts. Treat myself to breakfast cookie. And when I say breakfast cookie, I mean normal cookie. Training begins, starting with some salt bite work. A little bit of a grueler today. I've got to go through 50 calories on that bike there as fast as possible, and then for the amount of time it takes me to do that in seconds is the number of burpees to bar touches I have to do to finish the workout. Threshold, high output, not quite a sprint, not quite a red line. Hold high, see where it brings. Ew, ow, that was not fun. Just long enough to expose a weakness of mine. 50 cal assault bike domain, which is just a little bit longer than my thresholds can carry. If it was 40, I'd have been great, heading up for around sub 60, sub 50, but that last 10 really takes it out. So maybe I sprinted a little bit too hard to start with, but it took me 1 minute 26, and that should probably take around a minute to 110, but then I had 86 burpees to do. So obviously the longer you take, the longer the burpees are going to take. Then burpees, anything over 20 and 30 is just a grind, just keep moving on to the next. Staying with the primers, trying to get snappy under the bar. We're going with the 5 position clean deadlift into the high hang power clean. Now we're clicking, we're on to clean singles, building up to about 85%, which is about 123, maybe slightly above kilos. Only got 5 singles to get through, and when your lifting is as dialed as this, like it will be in say a weightlifting competition, you have to be accurate, you have to be precise in your lifting, you have to move well. So this is the chance to dial in fast, to be fast under the bar, to not let the bar crash, to meet the bar, and just build confidence in the way you lift. Last one, strong pull, solid above the knee, big shrug. Time for squats, going for the pyramid work. Start with lower weight, higher reps, build it up to a heavy double, and then working back down. Capacity into strength, back down to capacity. 185 kilo double. Top end, not done this for a while. Let's see how this looks.
The front 2 feet.
Good squat session, now we are into a good feed session. And I've done it again, check this, the perfect brunch sandwich about to go down. Bread's kind of small, so I'm making use of it, it actually fits quite well. Some cheese, some bacon, some eggs,
And these are about to go on top. Oink. Perfect. And then the avocado, which is seasoned with chili, will go on top of that. And that one will go on top of there.
Look at that. Is that not a thing of beauty? It is. Look at me.
Six, good. 7. And that was a wonderful one-to-one morning session because Rada brought her puppy, Staffy, gorgeous, Alma. And that is always a delight as a coach when someone brings their dog. Have a good day. The most annoying thing about supermarkets here is nothing is standardized. Bacon's always in a weird place. Eggs I can never find. I don't get who's designing these shops. Turns out I walk past them. Right here. Coffee time. Hey, can I please get 2 medium flat whites?
I've got large and sweet.
I'll go small, please. One with almond milk, please. I've been doing a little bit more research on my coffee strivings, just because that's good. I really am trying to figure out how much impact it does have on my sleep, because I do have my own correlations of how fresh I feel when I'm off of coffee, but I also don't want to remove that joy from my life. And there's some interesting statistics that I've been coming up with just to kind of fuel the argument of how much impact it could be having. I think it's about 6 hours later that your body can rid about half of the caffeine from your system. So a typical coffee is about 100 milligrams to 120 milligrams of caffeine. So even 12 hours later, there can still be up to 10 to 20% of caffeine still circulating in your system, which can have that processing effect on and impacting on your sleep. Depends on how active of a person you are. So the more athletic person can kind of process and metabolize faster. How well you hydrate is a big one. If you're under a lot of stress, you're adding to the cortisol, which is basically adding to the stress and anxiety, which is why some people can feel worse from the coffee and the caffeine. The big one seems to be hydration, but also the time of the day you have it. And what I'm basically finding out, I'm probably now not going to have coffee or caffeine after maybe 8 or 9 a.m. in the morning, just to have that kind of 12-hour buffer. And then anything beyond that, I guess, is something I'm going to have to accept, or just, not have it every day. But this idea of the health journey, you shouldn't always be just trying to remove everything from your life. It's about trying to pick the best ones for you. But the best life is the one that you enjoy too. It's not about always optimizing for what the best health-focused solution is. That's why we have alcohol. It's not great for you, but some people have a good time on it. That's why we have sugary sweets. Again, terrible for you. But some people really enjoy it, it's hyper palatable. That's why I've got an almond croissant. It's this idea of balance, about choosing the right factors for you. Let's be honest, it's your life. No one else can lead it for you, as much as there is these inputs and suggestions or even demands that you should be taking the best care of your body with all the restrictions and removals that allow the most efficient version of yourself. That's not the be all and end all. It's a life on your terms. And if you're wondering whether an almond croissant and a flat white is something that can fill me up for my breakfast on a Thursday morning, you would be misguided. It is more of a nicety. It's something I just allow myself to enjoy my morning with. We now have to ramp the calories up a little bit. This time we're going with a bit more breakfasty. We're going with bacon on seeded bread, 4 eggs and a bunch of spinach. Definitely need the leafy greens in the diet. This should set me well on my way to fuel up the rest of my day. I've been asked how I make these protein bowls, which are dense in calories. It's an easy one to make, so I will quickly run you through how easy that is. You need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ingredients. Greek yogurt, protein to mix with the yogurt, oats to mix with the yogurt, chia seeds to go on top, walnuts to go on top, and I forgot one more. Frozen blueberries. Honey to drizzle on top of all of this. I'm not measuring at the moment, so I tend to just go for 3 big spoonfuls of the Greek yogurt. Then it's a 1.5 scoops of vanilla protein. Give that a mix up until it's all mixed together. It looks awful to begin with. Once that's mixed, on top with the oats, make sure it's covered, but then a little bit more density to that layer to make sure it mixes. Another mix. So we have the consistency, so you can see it's quite thick now. Walnuts, I tend to get about a handful, and I'll put them in the corner. I get a good spread of that. It's probably about 40 to 50 grams. Chia seeds next. I tend to just fill the top corner and then fill in the gap with the blueberries. Sometimes I'll throw some flax seeds on just for a bit of decorative purposes and added fiber, and finish it all off with a drizzle of honey.
I tend to just loop up and down. And that will sort me out for the day. About 11 to 1200 calories in that. It didn't take long to make. I used to measure every element out, then I just got tired of how much time it actually took. After a while, you can start to eyeball some of the ingredients of it looking similar to what you used to do. And, you know, it's close enough at that point. South side of the city, class is done. Finally heading for the sauna I have been yearning for. The dry sauna, the Finnish sauna, traditional, whatever you want to call it. It's at a leisure centre close by. Not too much for a day pass, but there's a pool there. So instead of the run today, I'm going to get a swim in as well. 2 stops on the tram and we are here. Melbourne. MSAC, Melbourne Sports Centre. Been explaining to people why I've been really trying to source one of these and why I feel like it's better than the infrared. It's not that I don't rate the infrared, but it's the heat exposure which I found so much benefit from when I was doing it in the UK. Mainly because of the control that is required to regulate your heart rate, to not overheat. Means that you can hit an almost meditative state because you're focusing so much on the breathing that you are totally present. And with that comes creativity, comes a freedom of thought, which I'm looking forward to getting. And then there is, of course, the undoubted differences of the heat exposure, eliciting the heat shock protein release. And I always felt the benefit of I would never get ill, really feel stiff or injured. So something to it. Day for it. Let's go. Pay for a locker though. All right, swim first, sauna. That delivered. 20 lengths of the pool, which I surprised myself by. Definitely couldn't keep my heart rate down, so I don't think that classes as a zone 2, but still got a bit of movement done. Managed to get 25 minutes in a sauna. That's the feeling I've been chasing for a long time. That kind of struggle, that feel of actually working for it, in the sense of trying to regulate the breathing and controlling yourself. It's just familiar from what I've had in the past. I know my body's going to thank me for that. I'm already challenging myself to cool back down as well. There was a cold plunge option, but I don't quite have the time. I need to get back to the gym and have a little bit of food. I'll be revisiting that because it was only about $11, which is equivalent to £5 or £6, and doing that once a week with this weird walk after it, I don't think it's too bad. And if it's going to aid my recovery, especially going to make me do something I wouldn't normally do, like swimming, I want to say that's a bit of a no-brainer. Yep. Training time. So this weekend I've got a little bit less work to do each day, but this is somewhat of a simulation of a competition weekend. Each day I have 2 metcons to get through, which are simulating that of a semi-final field. So they'll be hard hitting, but I'll have a good amount of rest in between, which is going to mean that I can try and hit them at the most optimal output that I can try and aim for. It was a muggy start today, but we are supposed to get up to 28 degrees and it is looking divine. Let's get it. Yep, too good.
Supply to beat.
Gymnastic piece, 40 handstand push-ups, kipping, 40 chest to bar, 20 strict handstand push-ups, 20 bar muscle-ups, 10 strict wall-facing handstand push-ups, and then 10 rope climbs to finish. The rope climbs are where it got real sticky, real PC for me, so that's something I need to work on from a capacity sense. But I'm pretty happy with my time, so I always back myself on handstand work, and gymnastics right up until the rope climbs was really solid holding. Probably the rope climbs to be shaving about a minute off to be really competitive, but even still, I've beaten some really good times on that. I took about 10 minutes 30 to get that done. Time cap was 12 minutes. It's a tight one, and if that was on competition floor, I'd be pretty happy. And what I'm getting is more reasons to feel confident. Cams in, we're going to do a lifting workout together, a ladder kind of format. That's going to get tasty, going to get spicy. We'll push each other. He's fresh off the training camp, so he's got a rocket up the system, and we'll see what we can start to push together. Let's get it.
the lifting done. 10 reps each, alternating single reps at a 60 kilo bar. A minute's rest to change the plates. Do the same again at 70, 10 reps each. Rest a minute, same again, 10 reps each at 80 kilos each. Rest a minute, same again. One more time, this time accumulating max reps at 90 kilos. Cam got 6 reps, I got 5, and we held a pretty solid pace, which is part of the impetus behind us working together. And now we head into the last piece, the gymnastics and conditioning piece of 5 sets, 300 meter row, 300 meter ski, 15 meter handstand walk, 30 seconds rest, and reverse back up through that. 15 meter handstand walk, 300 meter ski, and 200 meter row with a 3 minutes rest in between sets. Cam's doing 5, I am not.
One, two, three.
And he is done. What do you think about that? Good shot.
Going like row into ski, I was like, okay, hit the first 200 meters quite hard and like hold that certain like fast pace.
Yeah.
And then the last 100 like back off a little bit, give you time to sort of catch up on the ski.
Yeah.
And then swap straight across.
Yeah, same. Yeah. It's good that we can get more sessions together, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's know where that came from. Just whipped up a quick snack bowl. Snacking I usually find isn't enough. I'll probably opt for biscuits or something like that. Not very satiating at all, whereas this fits the bill. Alright, team training, let's go. Got down here to Great Fit, Cam's giving me a lift. We're about to get in some of the first of the work on the worm, which is what we need to work on the most. It is the biggest synchro teamwork element that is probably lacking from the preparation so far, so let's see how it goes. Alright, part 1 done, we're still waiting on the worm to get put together. We needed some tape to tape it all together. It's come in 4 parts, so rather than wait around, we've just gone with the object movement with the kettlebell squats to start with. Not bad. Synchro takes some work, but all good. This has just taken us easily 10 minutes. Will it be worth it? Sunday, and after the success of yesterday's team training, I have one more day to complete this week of training. Rest day starts tomorrow, and just a couple of pieces to get through today. I'm not going through any lifting. I've got a bit of a tightness in my wrist, which is coming through my forearm. This is all about just ticking a box, and again, that adaptation of the body adjusting from Friday to Sunday in prep for competition weekend. Okay, that one was tight. 7-minute cap. 1, 2, 3, up to 7 of a 50 feet shuttle run, and 2, 4, 6, up to 14 of double dumbbell thrusters, which I am firmly in the position of being able to finish the workout. I'm now in the positions of knowing when and how to push, and thinking back over that, I could have pushed probably a little bit sooner and embraced that burn a little bit longer, because the dumbbells aren't heavy enough that the burn would stop you.
It's all about whether your mind wants to stop you whilst that burn is happening, as opposed to needing to put the weight down because it feels heavy. So I would bring that burn on sooner and push for sub 6 minutes. Strongman stuff isn't as taxing as the Metcon feel. It's more of a grunt work as you're doing it, so it's just uncomfortable but tolerable, and it's more about technique. So on the carries, I was loosening my grip. It was feeling like that was the weak point. Simple tip can give me was to turn my hands underneath the grip a bit more, and that grip felt so much more solid. And it's the beauty of training with other people. They sometimes have tips that you wouldn't normally think of because they learn things in different ways that you have. It's good stuff.
One, two, beat.
Was a kind enough session to end the week, so just the two pieces to that one today, short and sharp, and then a bit more of a longer grind. You could call it fun, but definitely more of the gritty side of training, which is a lot more durable if you can do it with someone that kind of gets you through that. And it's part of the benefit of working in a team. You push each other. Time for food, and make sure, see the bread, avocado, 4 eggs, and a little bit of bacon, cooked in olive oil, don't worry. I don't know how many calories this comes to. Probably between 800 to 900 maybe. Either way, refuel. The week to round out another one in the bag. Individually, our efforts are working. We managed to get a better team training session in this week as well. Granted, Dina wasn't there, but what we are understanding is firstly how well we communicate as a team. We are building that pattern of communication to the point where we hopefully won't need to talk as much on competition day for the likes of the worm and stuff like that. We will just know how well to move, to understand what we can expect from each other during workouts, and that really is the goal, to be able to communicate less but get more out of it. It's all clicking, it's good, it's only going to get better from here. In terms of the week ahead, we have public holiday to start the week, and then public holiday to finish the week, Monday and Friday. That shouldn't really disrupt training too much. It should probably give us a little bit more wiggle room to get more sessions in, because ideally we would up these sessions to 2 sessions per week if we can, alongside all the training that we're doing. But that will all happen in due course, and we'll see. Individual side from my own training, this is really where I can start to enjoy the journey a lot more. The asks of training are increasing. The coping with that is also increasing. And this is just the chance to see, after all the years of work, what it is permitting. You know, I'm really competing against, with my training, some really serious athletes around the world with the training program that I'm on, which is tailored to the semi-final athlete, which again feels weird to say because I've never considered myself as that caliber. But training with the people who are training against the people who are doing the semi-finalist training and being on a leaderboard with those, I'm realizing, you know, I'm in a place where I belong. So enjoy it. And I hope you guys are all enjoying it too. So I'll put you down there. I'm just finishing off my meals for the week. I very much hope you're all enjoying this as much as I am. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to recommend this to your friends, if you're enjoying it that much, please feel free to do that. Time for an easy enough send off. Stay hydrated, and thank you very much for the support so far. Catch you on the next one. Over and out.